we weren't equipped. We weren't to deal with it. You know, nobody had ever dealt with that. And, you know, the idea of even losing him.
Agent 23, Rescue 23, UMS 9, respond to the drowning.
Requesting 2 additional units and a supervisor respond to Bluesdale Drive.
Tonight, we begin with breaking news. Friends star Mathew Perry has died. Law enforcement sources tell the LA Times the actor was found dead at his home in LA today.
Why is a healthy, communicative, able-bodied gentleman like this suddenly pass away in a hot tub? You know, there has to be something sort of underlying.
The aerial footage of Perry's pool revealed a curious image on the bottom.
Matthew Perry's death investigation continues to raise more questions than answers days after his death. But his friend and co-star, Jennifer Aniston, is blowing the lid wide open and revealing what really happened to Matthew and what Hollywood had to do with it. Mathew Perry's death at the young age of 54 has triggered a lot of speculations, and as the investigation into the cause of death continues, some unsettling details have begun to surface, sending fans into a frenzy.
It was his favorite place to unwind. In fact, his last social media post 1 week ago was this image of himself in his hot tub.
But here's where it gets even more bewildering. Just days before this tragic incident, Mathew had posted a photo on Instagram that showed him relaxing in a hot tub. A few days later, Mathew Perry would pass away in that same hot tub. A chilling coincidence, or was it something more? This sparked a wave of speculation among his fans, leading to questions about whether he somehow knew he was going to die and was trying to warn fans about it. Ever since news of beloved actor Mathew Perry hit the streets, friends, including his co-stars, have been speaking out on his passing and celebrating the great person that he was. But amongst all of that, there have been friends who can't help but comment on the unusual circumstances surrounding Mathew's death and what it really means. Mathew was found unconscious in his Los Angeles mansion, and while the authorities are investigating the circumstances of his death, Jennifer Aniston is speaking up about the scary things that happened leading up to Mathew's death, causing fans to go over his social media, looking for clues of this heartbreaking tragedy. Mathew Perry's death took everyone by surprise, especially because he was so young and relatively healthy. People like that don't just die. And although his cause of death is still under investigation, fans can't help but wonder if there is something more to the story, especially considering his last Instagram post. But what actually happened leading up to Mathew's death? Well, TMZ reported that Mathew Perry played pickleball, his favorite sport, the morning of his death. He was said to have played for a few hours before going back home. When he returned home, he asked his assistant to run a few errands for him, but according to TMZ, when the assistant returned, she found him unresponsive in the hot tub in his backyard. She then called 911 and reported that Mathew was not breathing. Although we don't know if Mathew was dead before the paramedics got to his home, what we do know is that his death was confirmed at the scene.
Agent 23, Rescue 23, UMS 9, respond to the drowning.
After Perry's lifeless body was found, multiple police officers embarked on the scene, marked off the area, and set up a tent near the swimming pool and jacuzzi in the backyard. As the day went on, Mathew's parents, Suzanne, John, and stepdad Keith Morrison, rushed to his LA home, visibly distraught. The presence of a coroner's vehicle at the residence only amplified the shared sadness of family, friends, and devoted fans. The initial report released by the authorities indicated that there was no foul play involved and no drugs were found on the scene. They also believe that he died by drowning, although what exactly led up to that is still a mystery. And according to friends who saw Mathew before he passed, he was very healthy. Athen Crosby, one of Mathew's friends and one of the last people to see him alive, spoke out about meeting up for lunch the day before he died and what might have happened in his final hours. He was 100% sober when he passed. Crosby exclusively told Fox News Digital, I can't know what exactly he was thinking or feeling. I can only share my experience. And, of course, he was his own person that maybe he had said, done, or thought of things the day that he passed that I might never come to know. But when she met up with him, he was completely normal. In the interaction that I had with him, he was extremely positive, sober, acting normal, spoke very well, did not give me any impression that he was under drugs or alcohol of any kind. So I think people are speculating that this was a relapse situation. I just want to defend him and say that it was not. A lot of people are confused by Mathew's passing. Even doctors are finding the whole situation confusing, suggesting that there had to be something else going on.
Why is a healthy, communicative, able-bodied gentleman like this suddenly pass away in a hot tub? There has to be...
Well, fans believe they might have found that something else on his social media. Although Mathew's Instagram was littered with photos and captions that showed his funny side, a side that fans know all too well after he played the funny Chandler Bing for 10 years on Friends. Among the posts with light humor, there were other posts shared leading up to his death that appeared to be clues of what was to come.
The aerial footage of Perry's pool revealed a curious image on the bottom.
In fact, the very last post he shared on Monday, October 23rd, showed him relaxing in the corner of a jacuzzi. The caption reads, "Oh, so warm water swirling around makes you feel good. I'm Mattman." It's certainly bizarre that Mathew posted a photo in his jacuzzi, and 5 days later, he was dead in that same jacuzzi. A lot of fans certainly think it is not a coincidence, and it might have been a warning by Mathew himself that something was coming. And there are a few more bizarre details that made fans convinced there's more to Mathew's death than we've been told. Another bizarre coincidence on his Instagram is a post referencing pickleball. According to multiple reports, he was playing pickleball hours before he drowned, and that's not all. More bizarre details can be found in Mathew's memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. Starting with when the book was released. Mathew's book came out on November 1st, 2022, almost exactly a year before his death. And to make it even worse, in the last few pages, Mathew referenced death multiple times. In the introduction to the book, he wrote, "Hi, my name is Mathew, although you may know me by another name. My friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead." At the time, Mathew said he had been sober for about 18 months. Elsewhere in Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, Mathew wrote about driving a red Mustang convertible, while high across the desert, feeling complete and utter euphoria. "I remember thinking, if this doesn't kill me, I'm doing this again." He also revealed that he almost died after suffering a gastrointestinal perforation when his colon burst from opioid overuse. "The doctors told my family that I had a 2% chance to live," he told People in 2022. "I was put on a thing called an ECMO machine, which does all the breathing for your heart and your lungs. And that's called a Hail Mary. No one survives that." He continued, "There were 5 people put on an ECMO machine that night, and the other 4 died, and I survived," he added. So the big question is why? Why was I the one? There has to be some kind of reason. While what happened leading up to Mathew Perry's death is intriguing to fans, what's happening after his death is also a bit bizarre.
Mathew Perry's cause of death is now under investigation. The LA coroner's office waiting for toxicology reports to see if there were any.
The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner on Sunday told Fox News Digital, an autopsy was completed today, and toxicology results are pending. Following reports that a toxicology screening revealed fentanyl and meth were not found in his system at the time of his death, Dr. Michael Baden, former chief medical examiner of New York City and forensic pathologist, wondered why a cause of death had not yet been released. If Mathew Perry had died of a heart attack, that would be immediately apparent, and they would have said so. Baden exclusively told Fox News Digital, "Where we stand now is in their relief part of the toxicology, and that indicates that for some reason, they're holding up the rest of it." Baden had previously told Fox News Digital, "I think from the information that's been released, we won't know until the toxicology is performed, given his history of problems with alcohol and drug abuse. But the fact that he was found in a hot tub raises issues immediately about drowning or even heat stroke. On the basis of the information released so far, it is certainly possible that he could have died of natural causes, especially given his history of surgeries and medical emergencies," Dr. Baden said at the time. But it's still a bit weird that they're holding off on releasing the full cause of death. almost as if they're hiding something. Meanwhile, Mathew's celebrity friends have started sharing their reactions to Mathew's passing, including some of his friends' co-stars. Maggie Wheeler, who played Mathew Perry's character, Chandler Bing's on and off girlfriend, Janice on Friends, also spoke about the devastating news. "What a loss," she wrote on Instagram. "The world will miss you. The joy you brought to so many in your too short lifetime will live on. I feel so very blessed by every creative moment we shared." Morgan Fairchild, the actress who plays Chandler's mother, Nora Tyler Bing, said, "I'm heartbroken about the untimely death of my son, Mathew Perry. The loss of such a brilliant young actor is a shock. I'm sending love and condolences to his friends and family, especially his dad, John Bennett Perry, who I worked with on Flamingo Road and Falcon Crest. Paul Rudd, who plays Phoebe Buffay's love interest. Mike Hannigan, in the final 2 seasons of Friends, shared a heartfelt message about Mathew Perry on his Instagram. "Words can't express how saddened I am to hear of Mathew's passing. You will be missed so, so, so dearly." He captioned a post that he shared about Mathew. Marta Kaufman, David Crane, and Kevin Bright, the co-creators and the executive producer of Friends, said they are shocked and deeply, deeply saddened by Mathew's death. In a statement to CBS News, "We are shocked and deeply, deeply saddened by our beloved friend Mathew's passing. It still seems impossible. All we can say is that we feel blessed to have had him as part of our lives," the statement read. "He was a brilliant talent," it continued. It's a cliche to say that an actor makes a role their own, but in Mathew's case, there are no truer words. From the day we first heard him embody the role of Chandler Bing, there was no one else for us. We will always cherish the joy, the light, the blinding intelligence he brought to every moment, not just to his work, but in life as well. He was always the funniest person in the room. More than that, he was the sweetest, with a giving and selfless heart. We send all of our love to his family and friends. This truly is the one where our hearts are broken.
After we weren't to deal with it. You know, nobody had ever dealt with that. And, you know, the idea of even losing.
And finally, his Friends family and main co-stars, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer, all released a joint statement about his passing, saying, "We are all so utterly devastated by the loss of Mathew. We were more than just castmates. We are a family." Their statement reads, "There is so much to say, but right now we're going to take a moment to grieve and process this unfathomable loss. In time, we will say more as and when we are able," the statement continues. "For now, our thoughts and our love are with Maddie's family, his friends, and everyone who loved him around the world." Fans on social media are now also sharing their memories of watching Mathew on Friends, and many have expressed that Mathew and his character helped them through difficult times. One fan said, "Mathew, I am pretty sure you won't read this, but your book really inspired me to finally get sober. I kept relapsing for years too, and no one talks about relapsing over and over, but you did, and if you could do it, I figured I could too. Thank you for being so honest. I did survive very stressful times thanks to him and the rest of the gang. Feels like losing a friend, doesn't it?" Another fan added, "Let us know in the comments how you'll remember Mathew, and we'll see you in the next video."